bringing news from a different page. Truth served hot and bold and strong. Every week we sing along. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. Stories that make you think and pray. A light awaits at the end of day. Guided by the stars and stripes, through the stormiest of nights. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. When the world feels like a fight, hold your ground, stand for what's right. In the truth we'll find our way. Ed and Ronnie light the way. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. Red, white, and true will stand tall. Echo the call loudest of all. With hearts of faith and liberty, together we find unity. Together we find unity.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Red, White, and True with Ed and Ronnie, and the show starts right now.
Hey, what's up, Ronnie?
Hey, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm just amazed that we were on last night and we read the entire inaugural speech, and then we're back again 24 hours later, and we've got a list as long as both of our arms of stuff
That's
to
right.
go over tonight. So
That is
let's jump right in, and I'll start with a word of prayer. I think that's where we need to be with that. And then you have something ready as soon as I'm ready to pray. So
Yep.
we'll shoot you first. I mean, let you go first.
Not me.
Father, thank you for this day that you've given us. Thank you for the love that you have for us. We lift up our country. We lift up our president and vice president. We lift up all of our elected officials and appointed officials, whether it be federal, state, or local. We ask that you would help them to have wisdom to look to you, and wisdom to do what is right in your eyes. Father, I pray that Ronnie and I will say what you would have us to say tonight, bring up the topics that you would have us to bring up, and just thank you for being here with us. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, bub.
All right. We're going to start off with an IDF spokesperson. I apologize in advance. I got a dog over here who's full of piss and vinegar tonight. So
We're so happy you're back on TikTok. Here's what you missed while you were gone. This morning, a ceasefire agreement was supposed to go into effect at 8:30 a.m. between Israel and Hamas. The ceasefire was delayed because Hamas didn't uphold their end of the deal and didn't give Israel the names of the 3 hostages they were planning to release today. After 3 hours, Hamas finally gave Israel the 3 names of Doron, Emily, and Romi. 3 of them have been held in Hamas captivity in brutal, inhumane conditions for the past 471 days, and today they were finally brought home. In exchange for these 3 beautiful, innocent girls, we released dozens of terrorists with blood on their hands. As happy as we are for their return, there are still 94 hostages being held in Hamas captivity in Gaza. We will not rest until everyone is home. We remain committed to the ceasefire agreement, but we are ready to operate against any threat if need be. So to recap the day, TikTok is back, and so are 3 hostages.
All right. Outstanding.
that's some good news there.
Well, one of those reminders of Ronald Reagan there. It was within a day. This happened Sunday before inauguration back in '81 when the hostages were released from the embassy in Tehran. It was the day of the inauguration. And when you look at a terrorist group like Hamas, normally making a threat to them doesn't work.
No.
Normally what works is you have to do what you threaten to do. Trump said all hell will break loose in the Middle East. And terrorists are like, so? But it speaks volumes that they came through with what they were supposed to come through in order to keep all hell from breaking loose. And I don't know if you've seen any of the videos of the girls. There was 3 ladies that were released at the reunion with their families. And that's just a fantastic thing that that happened and that the whole world got to be a part of watching. And
it was definitely an amazing thing to behold, for sure.
And it's not like it was all Donald Trump. I want to be careful not to give him too much credit for everything. There were other people that were involved, the previous administration, which you're going to talk about later, executive orders and things that were sent through at the very last second, and was he even capable of knowing what he was signing? But I think we ought to call the previous administration, instead of the Biden administration, what was it I wanted to say? I'll think of it in a second. So why don't you hit us right up with, follow that right up.
Okay. Well, moving on from all of that to yesterday. Now, if you joined us last night, we did cover Trump's inaugural speech, word for word, and our thoughts and feelings on it. Rewatching it and watching it and rewatching it and watching it, I did notice something that kind of came to my attention. I kind of caught it out of the corner of my eye and replayed it and replayed it and replayed it and replayed it. And I apologize for the video quality. It's kind of crappy. We took it with a cell phone, but I kind of wanted to share with everybody this. This was right before Donald Trump took the stage for his inaugural speech. Let's see. so the Amy Klobuchar was up, and she was introducing herself and was speaking about the peaceful transference of power, and President Joe Biden behind her. Why are you not coming up? He kind of smiles and laughs and makes a gesture.
And we will witness the peaceful transfer of power at the heart of our democracy. For the past year, I've
I don't know if you caught that or not, but she talks about the peaceful transfer of power, and the outgoing president looks off to the side, smiles, and makes the sign of the cross. To me, it come across as a little bit disrespectful. He was. I don't know if he was trying to get it that he was hoping that there would be a peaceful transference of power, or if he was saying, "Hey, yeah, right, like that's going to happen," but here's the sign of the cross, or I don't know. It kind of bugged me a little bit. I figured I'd share it with all of my friends here. Before all that, and I have a video. I don't know if many of you know comedian Dave Chappelle. Ed, was there anything you wanted to say about all that?
Well, I just wanted to let people know that that really bothered you, because you talked about it last night before we started, and you didn't have the video that you actually wanted to use done, and we held it off until tonight. But I know that it really bothered you when you saw it.
To me, it seemed kind of disrespectful. She was talking about the peaceful transfer of power, and I don't know, maybe he was doing it saying yes, into the sign of the cross, saying, I hope there's a peaceful transfer of power, or if he's with that smirk on his face and yeah, right. Or I don't know. It caught me off guard, and it didn't sit well with me. It was sour grapes to me. I don't know.
Well, what else you got?
Well, I've got comedian Dave Chappelle. He was on Saturday Night Live the weekend before. Dave Chappelle is famously known for the Chappelle Show, and he's been in several movies. Very funny guy if you like that kind of humor. He was a very strong critic of Donald Trump his first time in office. He's since kind of mellowed out, I think, and he had some words of encouragement that I thought worked pretty well. And I watched this once, and it was maybe a week ago, so I apologize if there's any crude humor or language.
So Donald Trump, I know you watch the show. Man, remember, whether people vote, they're all counting on you. Whether they like you or not, they're all counting on you. The whole world is counting on you. I mean this when I say this. Good luck. Please do better next time. Please, all of us, do better next time. Do not forget your humanity, and please have empathy for displaced people, whether they're in the Palisades or Palestine. Thank you very much, and good night.
Now, what I really appreciated from this was he said, to Donald Trump, good luck. Please do better. And then to all of us, please do better. And I thought that was pretty good natured of him. He's been known for some crude humor and stuff like that. So
Very crude humor he has been known for. But he's also taken heat from the left on multiple occasions. His stance on the transgender issue in particular.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's not immune to controversy for any stretch of the imagination. And we talked last night, we talked some off the air as well, about give him a chance. Just, I got my hair cut today. I don't know if anybody could tell that, but I got my hair cut today. And there's actually 5 barbers that work at the shop I go to, and 2 of them were off. So there was 3 of them. And, like every other business, pretty much in January, business is really, really slow. So there was only, at one point, it was just the 3 barbers and me. And so we were talking about yesterday. And I mean, it was pretty evident that at least my barber that I was doing the talking with, and maybe one of the others, the other one, I don't know how much he was paying attention, but agreed with let's give him a chance. So I said this last night, the midterm elections, which will be 26, usually power in the House of Representatives in particular moves to the party that's not in the presidency. And so let's give him 2 years and do everything that you can to make it a successful 2 years. And even more so, do everything that you can not to block him to be able to be successful in the first 2 years. And then I said this last night, 2 years in, if you think he's done a crappy job, you want to, put blocks in his way or hindrance, then vote in who you want to vote in Congress. But come on, let's give this man. I was still watching things about the inauguration until at least 11:30 last night. And I seen somebody interview Rod Blagojevich, who I think he used to be the mayor of Chicago and then was a senator, or anyway, big time Democrat, saying basically what we're saying right here. If Trump does well, then America does well. Yeah. And that's what, forget the fact that you hate him. Do you hate him so much that you want America to fail? I don't hate anybody. I want to see everybody go to heaven. But I don't even dislike somebody so much that I want them to fail at the expense of the entire country. That just don't even make sense in my brain.
No. I watched a video earlier, and this guy was standing there and he goes, Donald Trump's been in office for 24 hours and eggs are still expensive and gas prices haven't come down. And then it actually cut to Donald Trump and he goes, I just got here. Give me a minute. which it's exactly true. Just give him a break, give him time. This stuff's not going to change overnight. The world's not going to heal overnight, but give him a chance. That's what we're asking, all in all.
Well, there's a topic that came up last night that we mentioned, and we said that we would give it 24 hours to comment any more about it. Let's see if I've got. Let me do something here real quick. Well, that didn't help. So you saw the picture. He clearly didn't have his left hand on the Bible. You and I talked about it, and I kind of like the getting together before. Not that we can't just wing it, because I'm pretty good at the old winging it stuff. I've got lots of years of practice on winging it. I'm pretty good at it anymore. But we talked, and you made a good point. I said I just want to kind of gloss it over because there really isn't that much more to talk about. But you said we promised last night that we'd do that, and so we're going to do it. Why don't you take it from there, and I'll add into it.
So I don't think Donald Trump has come out and said the reason why he didn't specifically put his hand on the Bible. Frankly, I don't really think there's anything malicious behind it. Now, something I was thinking last night when I was kind of spitballing ideas or spitballing why it could have been, well, they got started late. There was technical issues. Maybe they swore him in before. He couldn't do it twice with his hand on the Bible. I don't know. The best conclusion that we've come to, and this actually, I've seen a few news articles about it, but the Supreme Court, John Roberts, when he started, I don't know why I just got a bunch of pop-ups. Sorry about that. But when he started to do the oath of office, he jumped the gun. I don't know if he was trying to get it done quickly, to get it done under that noon deadline, or what the situation was. He started to say, I, Donald J. Trump, before Melania was able to get up there with the Bibles. So Trump started it without Melania and the Bibles there. Maybe he just finished it. He didn't want to stop partway into the oath and place his hand on the Bibles. And to me, that sounds like the most logical reason why. Like we mentioned last night, he mentioned God 5-6 times in his inaugural speech. He said, God saved his life for a reason, all that kind of stuff. So I don't think there's any malicious intent. I think it was they were rushing, technical issues, a whole microcosm of different things that could have happened that he wasn't able to do it. John Roberts started before any of his family got up there. So, and if you've ever noticed from years past, the president's surrounded by his wife and his family, and it was just rushed because they were behind the button. So that's what I think happened.
And
I don't think there's any malicious intent.
I don't think there was any malicious intent either. And you brought up a good point there. When you look in the past, there's always numerous people back behind. And actually, by the end of the oath, there were numerous people, but they were making their way up as they started. I don't want to make excuses at all, but we still don't know Donald Trump's side of the story. And I mean, there's a lot of Christians that are upset about it. And I halfway understand, the Bible is obviously a big thing to Christians, but legally, there was nothing done that would hamper him taking office. You don't have to have your hand on the Bible, or what did you say, 6 times that?
Yeah, six different presidents in our 240-year whatever history have not used the Bible. It's not a legal requirement. It's not even a legal requirement that the Bible's there. You can put your hand on a law book. You can have a law book there. It's not a legal requirement. It's a faith-based thing.
Well, I just spaced the fact that there are comments out there.
Oh my gosh, so I did too.
I'm just catching up. Hi to everyone that said hello. My friend, I used to say my friend from New Jersey. Where's she at? Where's her comment? There. Susan Kaminsky. I used to know her. I've called her NJ practically ever since I've known her. She's an old GOP.com friend that we've stayed friends. Actually met her. A lot of my GOP.com friends I haven't met in person. Some of them I have. And her handle on GOP.com back in 2008 was NJGOP. So now she lives in Montana, and NJ just doesn't fit anymore. I don't know how that works. I don't know how to address her. we've confused some people by being on last night and then again tonight. I had someone tell me today, and I think he's probably in here, that he didn't realize we were on last night. And well, who knows what we're going to do? We try to keep Tuesdays as the set part. I don't know. We were talking about the future of Red, White, and True, and things that we wanted to do, and things that we hope to be able to do. And we got some good things broiling in the background, let's just say.
For sure.
So we're excited about what we're doing. Back to the Bible issue. I'm not going to criticize Christians that are upset about it. It is what it is. And when we hear what Trump says, if he ever even addresses it, then well, we'll see what he has to say. I mentioned last night, I believe, on the air. The one thing about us talking before and after is sometimes I forget if we talk about it in front of everybody or not in front of everybody. But it's just, I hope it's not much ado about nothing and people are so worked up about it that's the biggest. To me, that is one of the smallest things on yesterday's agenda. And people might say, you're a Christian pastor and that doesn't bother you? Before it bothers me, I'm going to need to know his side of the story and not jump to conclusions.
Yeah,
and so
for sure.
We brought it up, we talked about it, and we are going to move on to one of my favorite things that happened yesterday. And I've got a video that, let me cue it up here. Well, if you didn't see this yesterday, then you will really enjoy this. If you did see it, then here we go.
So grateful that you gave our 45th and now our 47th president a millimeter miracle. We are grateful that you are the one that have called him for such a time as this, that America would begin to dream again. We pray that we would fulfill the true meaning of our creed, that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. We pray that you use our president, that we will live in a nation where we will not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we are so grateful today that you will use our 47th president so we would sing with new meaning, my country, 'tis of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and because America is called to be a great nation, we believe that you will make this come true. So let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous hilltops of California, but God, we're asking you not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and every molehill in Mississippi, from every state, every city, every village, and every hamlet. And when we let freedom ring, we will be able to speed up that day where all of your children, black men and white men, Protestant and Catholic, Jew and Gentile, will be able to sing in the meaning of that old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank you, God Almighty. We are free at last. If you believe where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Come on, put your hands together and give your great God great glory.
He is just phenomenal. I love that guy. Oh, you're muted.
I never knew him before yesterday. And I mean, if you're a Christian, I don't know how you could have not enjoyed that.
I want to hang out with that guy. I just want to, I don't know, go to the woods and smoke a cigar over a campfire with that guy. But I bet he's pretty cool to hang out with.
He absolutely would be. And people that show that much passion, that's just contagious. It really just is.
Yeah.
And there's another thing that went along with yesterday. It went along with what went on during the initial inauguration. And Carrie Underwood, boy, is she a champ or what? She took a lot of grief about performing at the inauguration, which just really irritates me that she had to go through that. And then there's the technical difficulties, and we talked last night about how things aren't always going to go right, and sometimes you just got to wing it. And boy, is this ever an example of winging it. Let me share.
Is it fighting you too? Because it was fighting me earlier.
Ladies and gentlemen, performing America the Beautiful, please welcome the Armed Forces Chorus and Carrie Underwood.
And there is that dreaded silence.
You know the words, help me out here. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
So,
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it looks like Pastor had disappeared. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, I had not watched that video in its entirety until just now. I knew there was technical difficulties. I had no idea that it was that long. The devil was at work there. I'd have to say. So you could tell at one point everybody's starting to look around at each other, going, "Okay, what's going on here? What's going on here?" And she may have even, she was obviously going, "What's going on here?" But it was amazing how she just kind of took the reins and said, "You know what? Let's do this." And she did a phenomenal job. She turned a technical failure into a sing along, and I loved it. I mad respect for her, especially after everything she took in the music industry, kind of being angry at her just for doing it in the first place. I got great respect for her now.
well, good to be back with you. Thank you for jumping on there real quick. I mean, she's totally respected I wouldn't say in all the music industry, because, some people don't respect people that have good morals and things like that, but she's a well-respected entertainer. And I intentionally let the silence stay in there. I mean, I could have fast forward through that part, or actually there were other videos there that didn't have the silence. They just took it from where she started singing. And I posted in the comments, deafening silence. And you think about it, the whole world was watching her at that point. And they kind of teased her a little bit because it played like 3 notes and then stopped again. And so, yeah, what a trooper.
Yeah.
What a trooper. And
I got great respect for her now. And that was really cool. I'm glad I got to see that.
yeah, Troy said she performs like a champion even without music. She just kept standing, and that she did. Go with your next video, Ron.
All right, well, I got a lighthearted moment here. This is from a TikTok influencer. His name is Mark K. He's sharing his thoughts on the events of yesterday. I believe he even mentions Carrie Underwood on here. Let me get the right video queued up here. I kind of like watching this guy. He's pretty funny.
President of the United States, Donald Trump, just got sworn in as, well, President of the United States. And if you missed it, here are the top 5 moments from today's ceremony. Number 1, Melania's hat. Seriously, this hat stole the show. It was all over the internet. If you're wanting to buy Melania's hat, good luck, because I imagine it's probably all sold out. Number 2, Carrie Underwood, who came out to perform America the Beautiful, and there was some kind of technical glitch. There was no music or choir. She stood there awkwardly for several minutes next to Joe Biden, which I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And finally, she just said, forget it, and belted it out a cappella, and FYI, killed it. Number 3, Donald Trump's inauguration speech was basically just an epic takedown of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's policies for the past 4 years. For like 30 minutes, he just said, everything's bad, I'm going to fix it, and people were applauding. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had to sit there and listen to their entire legacy get roasted while the crowd just erupted with glee. That was actually my favorite thing about the whole ceremony. Number 4, at that moment in his speech, President Trump said he would immediately sign an executive order declaring a national emergency at our southern border, and he immediately got a standing ovation. Literally everybody in the place stood up. Well, except the Democrats. And number 5, President Trump reverently and solemnly recounted the moment in Butler, Pennsylvania when he was shot in the ear and almost died. And he told the crowd and every American and really everyone watching around the world, quote, I was saved by God to make America great again. Amen.
Well, he delivered in a humorous manner. That was all factual things that he said there, or even his opinion things were spot on with the way I look at it. What do you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Melania's hat, I know. That was the first thing I noticed. Period was her hat, and I've seen some pretty funny memes. The Pizza Hut logo, you know, it says Pizza Hut, and it's got it looks like the roof of the buildings, and it said nobody out pizzas Melania and stuff like that. And we joke, you know, the hat, but personally, I thought she reminded me quite of Jackie Kennedy, bringing class back to the White House, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Even the goofy hat, I loved it. I'm so glad to have the adults back in the room.
Even in other parts leading up to the inauguration, she's done a couple of interviews where she didn't really hold back like she did the first. I think we're going to see a lot more of Melania Trump the second time. And one is that she knows what she's getting into this time. Because in one of her interviews, and you really, at least I haven't heard her say things like this, she said that she wasn't left any help basically from the previous administration on, you know, here's how the things go in the White House. And, you know, she kind of came out and didn't make Michelle Obama look very good in that.
No.
So I think she knows what she's getting into. Another thing that is big is Barron's an adult now.
Yeah.
You know, she worked really hard at protecting him the first time, and rightfully so, because the media can be brutal. And so there was that. And I don't know, I think in addition to him being an adult and not having to protect him as much, I think that has freed up some of her time. You know, when your kid's in college, you got a little more time than when he's going to, well, he was 14, I think they said.
Yeah.
No. It would have been 8 years ago. So I can't do the math on that one because I don't know exactly how old he is right now. But I mean, he was a youngster.
He was a tiny little guy.
Yeah, and now he's a really, really, really tall kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's towered over just about everybody that he stood next to. So talking about him, it's coming out that, thanks, Troy, 21 now.
21. No kidding.
It's coming out that Barron was the one who encouraged him to go on the Rogan podcast and other podcasts that he went on And, 21, he's in tune with what the young crowd is into, what gets their attention. And I think I seen a quote one time where Trump said, um, he wisely listened to Barron. And you think about it, that's a quite a bit of a challenge, for a kid that age. And so we're going to have a debate in the comment section on how old Barron is, 21, 18. And 6'7".
Yeah, he's taller
That
than I
is,
am.
yeah. I mean, you think about that. What are you, 6'6"?
6'4".
Oh, you're 6'6".
Barron's 18.
But I think that's amazing that Trump would listen to a youngster, a young adult like that. And I think it's amazing that um, Barron would be willing to do that. Not every 18-year-old freshman in college, whatever all of the details are, would want to take that on. I mean, that shows kind of what he's made out of, the grit that he has from his father, the intelligence that is there. And so that is, I mean, I hope he's able to help his father influence a lot of things with the younger crowd.
For sure.
Well, there was something that took place yesterday. It was, I think it was either one of the balls or it was at the arena where they had the 17,000. But Elon Musk was on stage, and this video I'm going to play will share that better. Elon Musk is autistic, and he got just totally raked over the coals about a video that really, if you watch the video, you can see that the claims that were made were stupid. But at one point he said, "From the bottom of my heart," and when he did, he tapped his heart and he threw his hand out. And everybody and their brother from the left is saying that he was given the Nazi salute. Now that, again, if you watch the video and listen to what he's saying, there is no way that that's what when he's thanking people. He had said thank you to the audience that was in front of him for making that happen, making Trump's election happen. And if you watched and seen him yesterday, I mean, he was giddy all day long. And to say from the bottom of my heart, and it's embarrassing, I believe, what they did with that. But I have shown this girl before, and boy, does she give some serious insight to that whole topic.
If you are someone who truly believed that what Elon Musk did was a Nazi salute, you are not intelligent enough to be in politics, nor should you be sharing your opinion online. If anything, we should all be pointing and laughing at you, because if you truly believe that he did that, then you truly believe all these Democrats did one as well. So why weren't you outraged about it then? Oh, because you knew that wasn't what they're doing. The same way that when Elon Musk makes a statement saying from my heart to yours and does that motion, you know he's not doing a Nazi salute. You're just so angry that you lost. You're so angry that America woke up and is tired of the leftist bullshit that you've been pushing upon us for so long. So you're trying to say and do anything that will make people second guess themselves now supporting the right. And it's not working. You're showing the world what an absolute clown you are. Donald Trump recently won a defamation lawsuit against ABC for $15 million. I want people to understand how hard it is for somebody of that level of fame to win a defamation lawsuit. Not only do you have to be able to prove that they lied, but you have to be able to prove so that they did it with bad intent towards you, that they purposely made a story up to make you look bad. And he was able to prove it. And then you wonder why people sit here and say fake media, say that they don't trust the news anymore because they lie to you. And this is not anything different. If anything, I honestly feel really bad for Elon Musk. Not that I agree with necessarily everything he says, but people forget that this man is a diagnosed autistic man. There are going to be certain tics and behaviors and speech patterns that he has that other people aren't going to understand. As somebody with autism myself, I can attest to this. There's a lot of times where I think I'm being perfectly normal and nobody else does. So it's really sad to me to see the media vilify him for things that literally are just symptoms of autism, and people sit there and they think that it's funny. No, he gets excited, he stims, he has certain vocal patterns. He's going to be a lot more blunt than most people would ever be, and that's something that I appreciate, but a lot of people don't. They want to be lied to, they want to be sugar-coated. But this was not a Nazi salute. This was a sad attempt at the left to try to slander the right, and it just didn't work out that well for them.
Wow. I actually heard he posted on X that the whole fascist salute is just another tired rhetoric by the left that they use all the time. You disagree with me? Oh, well, then you're a Nazi kind of thing. But she was spot on. I had not seen that before. Bravo.
I should send you the link to that and follow that girl, because that's what she does. I mean, she sits in front of the camera and picks a topic and tears it apart. And she is really good. And I've never seen something that I thought was off that far or just totally wrong. I mean, she's huge conservative. She's a huge supporter of Israel. I think it was probably an Israel thing that I used the last time with her. But I'll get the link to that in just a second, or if Trevor's listening and would like to put her link in the comments, that would be a great thing. I listened to another girl that was autistic and talked about this subject, and I seen other pictures or other short video clips of Musk and his eyes going back and forth and things. And this other girl who is autistic said, she said, this happens to me, and actually she can control it when she knows she's doing it. And so she showed what her eyes will do when she's not concentrating on that actually happening. And there was that. She talked about the tics, and there was another term that both of them used that I didn't know, but you don't become the richest man in the world by going out and giving Nazi salutes in front of the whole world. And he, I have a few liberal friends on Facebook, not a lot, but a few. And actually, this is a younger guy, probably in his 30s. He is basically middle of the road left, but he's not a hardcore liberal. And he was dogging Musk about this, and he said, probably everybody that's listening has seen the pictures of Biden and Obama and Hillary and Kamala, and it kind of flashed by on her real quick there, of them with their hand out like that. And he said, well, them are all still frame pictures and you can, catch them at the right time, but this is a video. You can see it as right on video. You can't mistake it. And I'm thinking,
those still frame videos started out somewhere, so obviously there was a video of them doing that. It's not like they put their hand out and somebody took a picture and, oh, well, that's not what they meant. You obviously knew that.
And if people were using that against those people at the time, again, none of those people were dumb enough to give the Nazi salute. I mean, you got to get, people just don't get to where they are or where they have been with doing things just that would totally ruin it. I mean, if any of those people would have got out and actually gave the Nazi salute and made it evident that that's what they did, and later said, yes, that's what I did, even their supporters would surely say that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
So I've got one more thing about Elon here. It's actually Trump talking. Most people know that the TikTok deal was a big thing to a lot of, especially younger people, but even us older folks see a lot of TikTok videos that other people post or that we go and look at. And this is the president talking about the executive order that he signed about TikTok.
Are you open to Elon buying TikTok?
I would be if he wanted to buy it. Yeah. I'd like Larry to buy it too. I have the right to make a deal. So the deal I'm thinking about, Larry, let's negotiate in front of the media. The deal I think is this, and I've met with owners of TikTok, the big owners. It's worthless if it doesn't get a permit. It's not like, oh, you can take the US. The whole thing is worthless. With a permit, it's worth like $1 trillion. So what I'm thinking about saying to somebody is buy it and give half to the United States of America, half, and we'll give you the permit. And they'll have a great partner, the United States. And they'll have something that's actually more valuable because they have the ultimate partner, and the United States will make it very worthwhile for them in terms of the permits and everything else. But so think of it, you have an asset that has no value or has $1 trillion value. It all depends on whether or not the United States gives the permit. So what I'm saying is let the United States give the permit and the United States should get half. Sounds reasonable. What do you think?
Sounds like a good deal to me, Mr. President.
Yeah, he can afford it too.
Wow.
Right there is a perfect example of why I say give him 2 years to start with and let him make deals like that. when you think about it, it's almost genius. The fear was that the Chinese Communist Party was getting information from TikTok users. So he's talking about pulling it out of Chinese control into the American government being involved. And he's talking about it, making the deal as if, the America could benefit financially from that deal. And I don't know, when it comes to, I mean, didn't he write a book, The Art of Making a Deal? And that something that he wrote? When he talks business ventures like that, instead of people saying, well, he went bankrupt 11 times, knowing, maybe being ignorant on the subject, and that doesn't mean, just means not knowing the subject. He only used legal loopholes. And you can think he's a bad person for doing that, but he didn't do anything illegal with those, or else he'd have been in big trouble. So when it comes to making a deal, we're looking at Panama Canal, we're looking at Greenland. I think the Greenland thing is going to happen because, I've heard some of the politicians from the country that owns it now, Denmark, I think. I was wrong
Finland.
about it. Who? Finland?
Finland.
There you go. I was wrong last time and I was wrong again this time. But I've seen some of their politicians that say it's not for sale. Look, for the right amount of money, everything's for sale just about. And I fully believe that that'll happen. How it will take place, what it will it be just a territory like Guam and some of those other American Samoa and places like that? I don't know, but I think it's going to happen. I'm not so sure about the Canada thing. That's another whole topic, and we're not going to. I don't think make Canada an American territory when it's a sovereign nation of its own. But when the comment section is good tonight. Hey, we got some good comments coming in and out. I know you've got some more, and we're cranking right along.
I've got two videos that are about President Trump's executive orders that he signed. If you want to get into that tonight.
Yeah, great time for it.
Okay, let's do it. This was when he was still at the arena, I believe.
The first item that President Trump is signing is the rescission of 78 Biden-era executive actions, executive orders, presidential memoranda, and others. The second item, President Trump, is a regulatory freeze, as you announced in your speech, preventing bureaucrats from issuing any more regulations until we have full control of this, the government and this administration. The next item, sir, is a freeze on all federal hiring, excepting the military and a number of other excluded categories, again, until full control of the government is achieved and we understand the objectives of government going forward.
Could you imagine Biden doing this? I don't think so.
Sir, the next item, as you announced in your speech, is a requirement that federal workers return to full-time in-person work immediately. Next, we have a directive to every department and agency in the federal government to address the cost of living crisis that has cost Americans so dearly. The next item here is the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty. And the next item, sir, is a letter that will be transmitted to the United Nations explaining that we are withdrawing from the Paris Climate Treaty. This next item is a directive to the federal government ordering the restoration of freedom of speech and preventing government censorship of free speech going forward. And lastly, sir, before we go back to the Oval Office to sign a large number of other items, is a directive to the federal government ending the weaponization of government against the political adversaries of the previous administration, as we've seen.
Good stuff there. Good stuff there. I like the I like every single one of them right there. That was phenomenal.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. That was at the arena, 17,000, everyday Americans. It wasn't, I heard somebody talking about you were at one place and they were wearing extremely nice clothes, suits, ties. There's other places, tuxedos. And at the arena, maybe they had blue jeans and a t-shirt.
Big foam fingers.
That was the arena was when he was with the people who elected him to be president. And it's funny because, I don't know what the final count was on how many he signed yesterday. It was somewhere between 100 and 200, I think. And, they cherry picked those to be at the arena. I mean, he could have signed them any of the places. That he cherry picked the ones that would get really, really, really good responses.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
He did. Those were, all amazing. One of the things that he did in his speech, and I believe an executive order was signed as well for this. And I meant to mention it last night, and we had so much going on last night.
Yeah.
And we read this in the speech, the fact that he has classified cartels as terrorist groups is a huge, huge, huge deal. In one of the places where he was at during later on in the night, it was during the press conference. He did a press conference in the Oval Office. I mean, that it's happened, but somebody asked him, or he asked somebody that was there, one of the reporters, probably Peter Ducey, because he kept referring to him like they were buddies and on first name basis, which I'm sure they are. How many times Biden did what he was doing last night? And I think the answer was zero. But
did you hear Peter Ducey helped him find the letter from Biden to Trump?
I was watching when that happened, and he teased the crap out of people. He said, "You want to read it together?" And you could just hear the press like
gasp,
foaming at the mouth, say, "Oh yeah!" And then he's like, "I better read it first."
Yeah.
But one of the press members asked if they are now considered terrorist groups. We're talking about cartels. Does that mean that special forces can cross the border and eliminate members of the cartel? And Trump kind of smiled and said, "That's possible." It's like, drop the mic and walk off, Mr. President, because
right, exactly.
And that's huge. I mean, we've got plenty of those cartel gang members here. Well, shoot, we got them right here in Columbus. And, some people would say, I bet that ain't true. I promise you it's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I can't say this about a lot of things, but I know for a fact that is true. And so that's a big deal. It's like maybe you should self-deport
Yeah. There's been some of that going on too.
All right. What's your other video, Bub?
I've got one more about this is President Trump in the Oval Office at the Resolute desk signing more later on last night.
Relating to events that occurred on January 6, 2021.
Okay, and how many people is this?
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutation?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research. Nice to see you again. So this is a big one. Anything you want to explain about this? We hope they get them. We hope they come out tonight, frankly. They're expecting it. Approximately 1,500 people, six commutations.
Were there any cases you did not commute or pardon?
We're looking at different things, but the commutations would be the ones that we'll take a look, and maybe it'll stay that way, or it'll go to, full pardon.
And the order does require the Bureau of Prisons to act immediately on receipt of the pardons and
Right.
commutation order.
Oh, I thought there was more. But I guess it was just about the full pardons, and they did get released. By the way, I did see that.
There were some places that held them up, at least temporarily.
Yeah.
It wasn't immediate, as in the second that they received them. I'm going to guess that there were some phone calls made that made sure that happened quickly. And I have some mixed feelings on that. There were some people that were part of J6 that deserved to be punished. But the things that happened that really, really bother me was they arrested people and then didn't charge them. And they just kept them in jail indefinitely. That's not the way we do things in America. If you've got things to charge them with, charge them, give them the opportunity for bail. And that's not what happened in a huge amount of the cases. And a lot of the cases, even if they were guilty and they were found guilty, the sentence was just way blown out of proportion compared to what would happen any other place. And he says he took it on a case-by-case manner. I'm not really sure, but you think about the families of those people. And Sue, I'm so used to calling her NJ that it's going to be a tough one. But she said their families must be so relieved. And yeah. And did you notice, and I noticed yesterday, he called them hostages.
Yeah. Yeah, he called them hostages in that video as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Well, maybe we will end up here on a little more lighthearted. I've got the video of when Trump found the letter, and we'll play that. We'll close out and say that it was a great 2 days of Red, White, and True. Let me.
For sure.
Let me just try that again.
Still wanting to argue with you.
Yeah, it just does its thing.
Yeah.
And of course, my account is got advertisements and talked about causing you to go to the bathroom. And now I can skip it and go back and share it again. YouTube has not been our friend tonight.
No.
And watch, he's signing more executive actions. Let's take a look.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutations?
Full pardon.
I'm not sure what exactly happened with that. That was the video you played, which I had zero access to. So, yeah, well, what we're going to do, it was just, you know, he was being humorous with the press, and so I'm not going to keep messing with it. So what do you think? 2 days worth of red, white, and true?
Yeah, great.
I
love it.
We definitely
more
didn't have a shortage of things to talk about. We didn't really get into the Israel situation a whole lot. We did briefly talk about the 3 hostages that were released. And I could go on from there. I guess one of the things about that really, really bothers me and is they had to release several hundred Palestinian criminals that had blood on their hands in order to get back innocent hostages. But
yeah,
that's another topic for another night. And I think we did good, boy.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of us so far.
We didn't even talk about this, and your eyes might get big when I say it, but you know, we may get down the road a little bit and decide that we need 2 nights instead of 1. I mean, we proved the last 2 nights that we could handle that. I didn't have any doubt whether we would or not anyway. And there's always plenty of information. We don't always have to talk politics, and we don't always talk politics. But like we said earlier on, we've got some plans that we're working on. We're going to be asking people to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to ask them to, you know, every social media has something different. Like, follow, subscribe, whatever the appropriate one is with all of our red, white, and true social media. We're going to, it's going to take just a little bit, but I think we're going to have some red, white, and true merchandise, shirts, t-shirts, polos, things like that, and maybe some others. So we told them last week that we would be making plans, and we did that. And both of us are excited about the future of red, white, and true. Okay, you're looking like Joe Biden looked at much of the. You looked asleep. Not that I would ever call you Joe Biden. I'm talking about the look on your face.
No, I've got a puppy in my lap that she won't leave me alone tonight. But if she keeps her in my lap, keeps her quiet, then she can stay here.
Well, Amy and I plan to be here Friday for prayer and share, one of the many parts of the Ed Boston Ministry umbrella. And so until we see you on Friday, take care and go out and do the right thing.